Here to discuss more on this, New York Congresswoman and House GOP Conference Chair, Elise Stefanik. Hello, Elise. Welcome to the show. It's a great pleasure to see you.
Good to be with you, Larry.
So you heard the reports. I hope you heard my commentary. I'm just feeling between the parliamentarian and the Senate, just one vote, one bite of the apple. Biden is retreating on tax hikes. The Republicans have, quote, taken to the mattresses to fight the tax hikes, and the spending numbers are coming down. It just looks to me like Biden's whole plan is in trouble. What's your reading of the situation?
My reading is that in just over 100 days of Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi's Democrat-controlled government, we've seen that the tax and spend proposals are far further to the left than what the American people want. Republicans are proud that we are the party that stands for cutting taxes, not raising taxes. And the fact that the Democrats would even put on the table trillions of dollars of tax hikes after coming out of a pandemic shows how out of touch they are with Main Street and hardworking American families. So I think it's important that the American people understand Republicans are unified in standing up for the taxpayers across this country to make sure that you're not footing Joe Biden's far-left socialist policies bill.
Well, I think that reading is right. Voters are a lot smarter than some left-wing Democrats think. I think that's your basic point. And you're seeing a change. The politics are changing now. All of a sudden, Biden looks like he's on the defensive. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to know how this turns out. You are smart enough to know. Let me ask you this, though. Elise, what about the House? Some people are telling me that these Biden taxes are so extreme that you've got whatever, 6 or 8 moderate pro-business Democrats. They don't want the estate tax to go up, the death tax. They don't want the corporate tax. They don't want to double the capital gain tax. They come from suburban districts that don't want it. And some people are saying this Biden plan couldn't even pass the House. What's your thought, please?
My thought is that Nancy Pelosi has been able to unify her Democratic caucus for very far-left proposals, whether it was the partisan COVID, non-COVID package, whether it's their focus on multi-trillion-dollar infrastructure packages that's not focused on infrastructure. So never underestimate Nancy Pelosi's ability to instill groupthink among Democrats. Now, if I were a Democrat in a swing district, these are devastating votes to take because they're out of touch with, as I said, hardworking families, with rural communities, with suburbs, really with everyone who is working very hard as we come out of this pandemic and try to focus on growing the economy. But it is going to be a tough hill for Nancy Pelosi to climb, but she is able to use her leverage, Larry. It never ceases to amaze me that they have been unified with very far-left socialist policies. And make no mistake, even though Joe Biden is backtracking from his tax proposal, his budget that he put forth includes $55 trillion in new taxes over 10 years. That would be the highest level of taxes ever. So his policies are still very much focused on tax and spend, which is why Republicans and voters across this country are unified as we head into the midterms next November.
But Elise, he'll never pass that stuff when you take the House next year. Isn't that going to happen?
We are going to take the House next year. We just need to make sure that they don't pass these tax and spend policies between now and next November. I was at a local event last night in upstate New York, and it was the most people we have had at an event probably that I can remember at this early in the cycle. So people are energized. They are waking up. They are feeling the impacts of Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi's policies. And I'll tell you, the two big issues I hear the most about are the federal pandemic unemployment assistance, the incentive to keep people out of work. Small businesses are desperately looking to hire workers. We want to make sure that the incentive is getting people back to work. And the second issue I hear from most voters, Larry, is on inflation, the rise in cost of goods. That's a tax hike on every American, whether it's food prices, lumber prices, or gas prices. So people feel that in their wallets, and they're going to vote for Republican leadership in the House next November.
Well, all this sounds pretty good. Let's while we're on the subject of politics, heaven forbid, let me ask you a couple questions. I'm on the road, and it's hard, and I'm reading from my cell phone, and these old eyes aren't as good as they used to be. But I did see a story in, I guess, the Washington Times, Elise Stefanik. My good friend and yours, Mike Pence, who's a wonderful human being and a terrific vice president. He reported, I think he was up in New Hampshire, which kind of makes this interesting. He basically said for the first time, look, President Trump and I speak all the time. Pence, am proud to have been part of the Trump-Pence team that accomplished so much. But, he said, we may never agree about January 6th, and he acted constitutionally. And then he concluded by saying, let us look forward. Let us move forward, not backwards, and let us focus on the policies that hold us together. All right? I hope you sort of got that riff that I just did summarizing Pence. It's an interesting thing for him to say, Elise, especially in New Hampshire. What's your thought on it?
My thought is Mike Pence is an incredible public servant, and President Trump was a very effective, incredible president. They were a very good team, and Mike Pence has a different perspective on January 6th than President Trump. I think it's good that Vice President Pence was able to speak in New Hampshire and talk about the positive working relationship he continues to have with President Trump. But the issue of election integrity, that is important to make sure that we secure our elections, that we focus on policies to support voter ID. Even in upstate New York, not just these swing states, but in a congressional district, it took multiple months before they had designated a member of Congress because of issues related to the election. So I think we can come together to strengthen our elections before we head into the midterms. And I applaud the states like Arizona, Pennsylvania is looking at it, Florida passed legislation, and Georgia that are working to strengthen their election system integrity.
All right, one last one on the way out, Elise Stefanik. You've been terrific, by the way. I hope you come back again and again. You've been very calm on this program. You've been very calm. Your face looks great. It looks like you've had a lot of sleep. So I want to inflame you in my last piece here. I'm just reading that Facebook, that wonderful company Facebook, has decided to suspend Donald Trump's account for at least till the end of 2023, for at least another couple of years. And I just think that is just off the charts and off the tables. What's your thought, and what can we do about this?
It's a disgrace, and the people that it hurts the most are the American people. We deserve a robust debate on ideas with lots of perspectives from all across political ideologies. And the fact that people are so concerned about President Trump's reach and effectiveness in reaching out to the American people that they have to ban him from Facebook, it is shameful. Congress needs to haul in these tech CEOs to ask them questions about how I believe this is unconstitutional. We need to repeal Section 230. The fact that they are able to muzzle and silence viewpoints, that is un-American. And certainly, it's not just the president. I hear it from conservative activists in my district who feel that their viewpoints, they're not able to share them on social media platforms. But make no mistake, the president is able to get his message out in creative ways. And I know there's going to be big news with how he gets his message out directly to the American people.
All right. Well, you go, Elise Stefanik. Great stuff. Keep the fight up. Things are looking better. They really are. New House Leader, Congressman Elise Stefanik from New York. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.